happy Monday. It's Britta back with another Monday review. Today I have an eyeshadow palette review. And I actually don't even know if I think Carly did an Cosmetics eyeshadow palette. I don't think I've reviewed an eyeshadow palette in this like Monday mini review series. But I recently picked this up and wanted to review it for you guys. It's the Sydney Grace Coffee Talk eyeshadow palette. I got the light version, and this is a 9-pan eyeshadow palette. As you can see, very cool toned, very, very pretty. It retails for $33 on the Sydney Grace website, and let's get into the review. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar with our videos, our channel, I love Sydney Grace eyeshadows, specifically the matte shadows. I personally can't use talc in my makeup products, and I find that eyeshadow is still the place where it's a little bit difficult to find talc-free formulas. Obviously, it's getting better. Like, more and more releases are talc-free, which is amazing, at least for me. I just have a talc allergy, but I love Sydney Grace because they're talc-free, and somebody had recommended them, I want to say, oh, definitely over a year ago, maybe like close to 2 years ago, and I had never heard of the brand, and then I started hearing Jen Phelps here on YouTube talk about them often, and she raves about them. She really loves like their metallics and their shimmers as well. So I gave it a try, and I ordered a few of their single matte shadows, and those are the shadows that I use every day when I do my makeup, just like on an everyday makeup basis. I just have like a 4-pan palette that I made myself, and that's what I grab every single day because I love the formula. The mattes just blend out really, really beautifully, and they have really good staying power. I feel like on even if you have like normal to oily eyelids, I feel like the mattes will really stay put. And they're almost like a pressed pigment type where there is kind of a lot of kickback when you put your brush into the formula, and then a little like kind of a lot of product can deposit onto the lid, but if you just keep blending, like it blends out really beautifully. Like the pigment stays where you put it, like you know, it doesn't blend away is what I'm trying to say. Like some pressed pigment formulas where you blend and then you're left with nothing. These like stay pigmented on the eyelids. They blend beautifully together. And they last all day. So really, what else do you want in an eyeshadow? And I personally like matte shadows more than shimmers, so that's why I first dipped my toes in with the matte formula. And then I did also, I think I got, it was like the summertime palette last year, and that had like some other finishes. So then I was able to try the shimmer shades and like the more like metallic shades as well. So now I've tried all their finishes. So when this palette came out recently, I was like, well, this color story is so beautiful. I don't really have any cool toned neutral palettes like this. I usually gravitate towards like neutral, or warm tones are just more available. And so when I saw this, I was just like, this is so unique. And for $33, I must say, like, because I know this formula, all these formulas are amazing, that is an incredible price point in my opinion, because even their single shadows, I want to say they're $5 each. And so like the palette that I made for myself with the 4 single shadows was already $20, and then you're getting more shadows for only a little bit more. So great, great price point. And one other thing I really love about Sydney Grace is that they offer their palettes in a light version and then a deep version for like deeper skin tones. So I think that's amazing. I don't personally know any other brands that are doing that. If you guys do, please let me know down below because I'd love to like explore that more. But I think it's just so inclusive of them to do that. And also it's just way more creative. I love that they, you know, like take one tone and then make it suitable for like everybody. I think that's just very innovative, which it shouldn't be. Everybody should be doing it, but I think that's amazing. So that's another reason I really love to support this brand. Okay, so I know I talked about the matte shadows, and then in here we also have 4 shimmers. Well, I actually don't know. Crema might be a bit different. To me, it's a little bit chunkier, so that one might be more of like a pressed glitter type of formula. But we have the 3 shimmers on the bottom, so I will insert a swatch of like this whole palette. But Ristretto, Latte, and Cup of Joe are the shimmers, and these are really beautiful. They're like a true shimmer where there's no like chunky glitter fallout. Like I said, that's more like Crema has like some chunkier glitter. I think that might be more of like a topper type shade, but these, they're just super, super smooth. They apply like butter. I just use my finger, pick a little bit up, and you can just easily tap it onto your eyelid. So effortless, like truly effortless. Way more effortless than the mattes, which like I said, just because there's a lot of kick up, lots of pigment when you put them directly onto your eyelids. So they do take some more blending, but the shimmers are so buttery. Okay, so I wanted to insert just a clip of me doing my makeup because I'm obviously wearing it on my eyelids today. So my favorite shade in the whole palette, which I'm sure you could guess, is Frappe. It's just this beautiful, like, neutral toned medium, like brown. I don't know, it's so beautiful. So that's what I put in my crease first, and it really just adds like some definition to the eyes, which without looking too harsh or too subdued. Like sometimes I feel like when I go in with like a transition shade, it can kind of look like nothing, and this one I feel like I would wear this on its own, and I actually have since I got this palette, and just like call it a day because it's so beautiful. Like really helps to define the eyes without being like overdone or too dark. So I love that shade. So I put that in the crease, and then I went in with Macchiato in the outer corner. And so I used a smaller, much smaller brush. Like obviously with Frappe, I used a pretty fluffy brush. And then with Macchiato, it was much smaller. And I kind of like tap just the tiniest amount, dab it onto the outer corner of the eye, and then just blend it a little bit like into the outer V on the crease. And then to kind of blend everything together, I went in with a more tapered blending brush with Frappe, and then kind of like pressed it over the outer V and then into the crease and blended it all together. So that really like helped to make everything look very smooth and seamless. But the other thing, usually when I do that with some formulas, it can kind of just all blend together and look like one color. And like I said with these, like I laid Macchiato down and it didn't really like disappear. Even when I put Frappe over top, it did stay there. So it does have staying power, and it won't all blend together into one color, which I love. And then I didn't know what I wanted to do on the lid. I think this Ristretto shade is really pretty, but it's a little more like silvery toned than I usually go for. And I think Latte is my favorite shimmer because it is just that true like cool toned bronze shade. There's not too much dimension where it can look like overdone. Again, it just looks very like pretty on the lids. So I wanted this on the lids, but I really do like kind of a crisp, clean inner corner. So I kind of just tapped it like right in the center of my lid and left like the very inner corner open. And then I went in with another Sydney Gray shadow, but one of the cream shadows. I bought a single when I purchased this. I don't remember the shade name off the top of my head, so I'll link that down below too. But it's just the matte cream shadow. And I just put that like on the very inner corner and then blended it into the shimmer. Just because I just like this area a little bit brighter, because I feel like I do have like naturally dark under eyes, so it helps to like brighten things up. And I never really did that before. I've never really put a shimmer on the center of my lid and then like blended it with a matte, but I like how it looks. I felt like everything blended beautifully. Perfection. This Latte shade is so pretty. Again, like Frappe is my favorite matte in this palette, and then Latte is my favorite shimmer for sure. So I love how this look turned out. I love a good cool toned eyeshadow palette. This one is no exception, and I feel like you could get like really dark and vampy with obviously like this Cup of Joe shade and the Espresso. It has kind of like some green undertones. Like you could really do a look with this palette, but I kind of wanted to show you what I would usually do in my normal like everyday to day life, because I don't really do like crazy vampy eye looks normally. So I wanted to show you that this is very wearable, but also can be like very glammed up if you prefer that type of look. Overall, I love this palette. No regrets buying it. I'm actually really happy that Sydney Grace came out with a neutral palette like this, because like I said, this summer, what is it called? Like maybe the summer vacation palette? I can't remember off the top of my head, but that one that I have is really beautiful, but it has some really pretty like plum tones that I love, but then some also like warm tones. So it's not just like a neutral palette that I can reach for and like know exactly what to do. You kind of have to think it through a little bit more. Whereas this one, I feel like I could do so many things with it that I could reach for it on like an everyday basis and I'd be totally set. So I'm really happy that they released this type of palette. I think the shades are really unique. They're really beautiful. The formula is 10 out of 10. So I would highly recommend this, especially if you want to try Sydney Grace and try like a couple different finishes like the matte and the shimmer before you buy any of the singles. I think this is a great way to do it for the price point. And I just can't wait to see what else they come out with. Also, if you guys have tried the Temptalia Sydney Grace collab, please let me know if it's worth it down below. I usually don't play with color, but I'm so like on the fence about it, because I think that obviously like I love this formula, I love Temptalia and Sydney Grace. I would like to support them, but I'm like, would I use it? So if you guys have it, love it, use it, please let me know down below.